5, 4, 3.
Lights out, everybody.
It is later than you think.
This is Rebecca Rowe, bringing you another in our series of stories of the unusual. And once again, we caution you, these lights out stories are definitely not for the timid soul. So we tell you calmly and very sincerely, if you frighten easily, turn off your radio now. Listen to me now as I introduce to a very patient lights out audience our peculiar play, Fangs for the Memories, written by Michael Johnson, especially for the WWOW audience. Many of you, if not all, have heard of Bram Stoker's Count Dracula, the tale of a vampire, a hideous monster who roamed by night and drank human blood. Only a wooden stake through the heart ended Dracula's sanguinary activities, turning his foul flesh to dust. But the legend of Dracula is not the only tale of vampires.
Sound, tea sipped, cup placed on saucer.
Thanks for the tea and cookies, Ethel.
Oh, my pleasure, Sheriff.
Yeah, thanks for the milk, ma'am.
Of course, Deputy. A growing boy like you needs to keep up his nutrition.
Sound, footsteps approaching.
Hey! What brings the long arm of the law out here? Ethel, why didn't you give a shout?
Well, here's trouble. Hi, Herman.
Hey, Mr. Tolliver.
Evening, gents, and I use the term loosely.
Sound, chair scrape.
Well, Herman, we need to ask you and Ethel a few questions.
Oh, sounds serious. What's she done now?
Oh, Herman.
We're not after either one of you two yet, but we do have a situation here.
Yeah, something's ripping the throats out of...
Oh!
Whoa, ease up there, Deputy. Yeah, sorry, Ethel, he's a little gung-ho, but yeah, we got some dead livestock in the area, and now we got a murder that may be related.
Related how, Sheriff?
Well, the livestock were all killed the same way. Their well, no nice way to put it. Their throats were ripped open, and now a dead man...
was his throat?
I'm not sure I should go into details.
I can take it, Sheriff.
Well, Ethel, his head was torn right off, and it's gone missing.
And they stuck him on a garden stake, like a marshmallow on a stick.
Deputy.
Sorry, Sheriff.
They? Who's they? And who's the dead guy?
Well, we don't know, Herman. 1, no wallet. 2, no head. So 3, no identification. Not even a tag in the clothing. But who did it? Well, that's where you come in.
Me? Well, I got a temper, but...
Oh, no, calm down, Herman. I mean, we need to talk to you and Ethel about Hank.
Our handyman? Why, he's certainly a strange boy, and he's got the strength of an ox, but he's harmless, I swear.
And there's that foreigner who's been renting a room from you. What's his name?
Nicholas Cierne. He's from Romania. He left yesterday to go to the city for a few days. At least that's what he said.
All right, we'll check with the bus and train stations. Now, the murder happened last night. Can you vouch for Hank?
Oh, not sure if we can, Sheriff. He sleeps in the shed by the barn.
I guess that's right. No way to tell if he was there all night. But I'm sure the boy hasn't become a homicidal maniac.
Sounds to me like you're looking for a vampire.
Oh,
Oh, Hank.
oh, for the love of Mike, Hank. You gave us a scare, boy. Now don't creep up like that.
Well, how much did you hear, Hank?
Just about everything. And for the record, Sheriff, I'm no killer.
All right, Hank. Why don't you tell us where you were last night?
I spent the night reading.
Can you prove it?
I don't have any witnesses, if that's what you mean.
Well, what the heck do you mean a vampire?
It's like in the book I'm reading, Dracula. A vampire goes for people's throats and drinks their blood, and they are real strong. Strong enough to hold a cow still while they sink their teeth into the neck.
The sheriff and his deputy didn't get any further with Hank, so after a few more questions they left, still not knowing who was the dead man and who was doing the killing. Over the next couple days, enquiries were made, but there was no sign of Nicholas, and no corpses, animal or human.
Sound, drawers opening, clothing going in, closing.
What is it? Oh, it's you.
Yep, me and the laundry. Did you have a nice nap, Herman?
It'll do. Didn't sleep well last night. While Hank and I were working on the fences yesterday, that boy went on and on about that dang Dracula book. How vampires can make other vampires by biting them. Oh, but not by killing them. And how they're strongest at night and need to refresh themselves in the earth of their homeland. And only a wooden stake can kill them. Well, it's just a stupid story, but it gave me nightmares.
Oh, that's all stuff and nonsense. It will turn out to be a rabid bear or something like that. I'm going down to put together some leftovers for dinner. It'll be ready soon, so don't go back to sleep.
Sound, footsteps down the hall and downstairs.
Oh, don't go back to sleep.
Sound, footsteps.
Now, I work hard around here, and if I want to go back to sleep, I'll go back to sleep. But I think I will go check Nicholas's room. Yeah, see if the sheriff missed anything.
Sound, door opens, light click, footsteps.
Well, no suitcases anywhere.
Sound, drawers open.
No, he took his clothes. Doesn't look like he left anything behind. Like he wasn't planning on coming back. Huh. That there throw rug's in a different place.
Sound, rug moved.
And that board, it's smudged and it's loose. Maybe he hit something there.
Sound, board taken up.
Ah, there. That's done it. Wait. Nothing here but dirt. Dirt? Now, why would he hide dirt? Oh, no, that can't be. Now, Herman, you get your head on straight. There's no such thing as vampires. Hey, maybe I'll go have a little fun with Hank, tell him what I found.
Sound, running footsteps on gravel.
Lights on, so he's in the shed. Hey, Hank, guess what I found?
Door opens.
I found a whole mess of dirt below the... Ah! Hank! Oh, he's been ripped apart! Ethel! Ethel!
Sound, running footsteps on gravel, then on stairs. Door opens.
Ethel! It's Hank! He's been... Ethel!
Oh, yes, Herman.
You got blood all over you. Did you find Hank too?
Oh, yes, dear. It was quite a shock, wasn't it?
Yeah, I almost had a heart attack.
Oh, sorry, Herman. I didn't mean for it to happen quite that way.
What?
But the dear boy wouldn't shut up. He was going on and on again. Vampire this, vampire that. And, well, I just got fed up. So I decided he had to go. Plus, I was really in the mood for something other than leftovers.
Ethel, what are you talking about?
Well, Herman, I'm a vampire.
Vampire?
Thanks to that Nicholas. He put the bite on me, but couldn't quite bring himself to kill me. Such a sweet old lady, he said. Now you got eternal life. Oh, I didn't ask for that. So when he turned his back, I took his head off, like snapping peas. Put his head on the compost and his body on a stick. In that annoying Betty Slade's garden. He won't be picking on any more helpless ladies.
Oh, Ethel.
So, Herman, what's it going to be?
Huh?
Eternal life?
Sound slow, menacing footsteps.
Oh,
Last chance, mister. You took a vow, for better or worse.
yes, but you're a monster, a murdering freak of nature. Oh, those teeth!
Oh, that's it. We're through.
Sound, chomp on neck. Gurgling sounds, body fall.
Oh, Herman, you always were a stick in the mud.
It is later than you think.
Thanks for listening to our little tale of terror. Music was performed by Heather Edwards. Sound effects were provided by DeLisa White. In the cast were yours truly, Rebecca Rowe, Steve Viola, Bob Rutan, Alan Dolderer, Frank Franconeri, and Karla Hendrick. Now stay tuned for the WWOW production of The Adventures of Sam Spade in the Crab Louis Caper.
This is the WWOW Radio Network.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the Hard-Boiled Private Eye, and the Cranston Spade Theater Company, radio's outstanding producers of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with The Adventures of Sam Spade, presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair.
Nobody has to tell you that a neat personal appearance can have a lot to do with helping you get ahead on the job. Now, the first step to a good appearance is well-groomed hair. And I mean hair that's groomed with Wild Root Cream Oil. Wild Root Cream Oil always grooms the hair neatly and naturally. It relieves dryness, removes loose dandruff. Yes, men, to look your best at all times, spruce up with Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men, and women and children, too.
And now, the WWOW Radio Mystery Hour presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sound, phone rings. Pick up.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Buono, buono.
I beg your pardon?
Sono il campanello?
Sam, what are you saying? I can't understand.
Oh, nothing, sweetheart. I just happen to have the tourist lists of handy Italian phrases before me.
North Beach never did that to you before, Sam.
Ah, there you have captured my feelings in a capsule, dear one. North Beach never did anybody like it just did me.
But I thought you said that old Bartolomeo just wanted you to drop by for a friendly talk.
And some garlic bread and red wine. But does that explain the knife gash in my coat?
Oh, your new tweed.
Ah, my new tweed now, Cherub. You see, it was never meant to be swum in.
The bay. Not again.
What else? By now, your keen feminine instinct should tell you this is not a social call, Wonder Girl. As a matter of fact, I plan to drop by presto presto with words anew, a little something I call View a Fisherman's Wharf from the Water, or the Crab Louis Caper.
WWOW is bringing you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Arrivederci Roma, goodbye, goodbye to Rome.
Sound, door closed. Footsteps. Drink routine, ice cubes clink. Pour of whiskey.
Buongiorno, Sam.
Ah, boning up, huh?
Let me see. Oh, Desiderio on Carburetori per la Carrozzella.
Effie, that's great. What's it mean?
I found my secretary's list of most used Italian phrases, Sam. It means, I want a carburetor for my voiturette.
I'll have to remember that. Shall we proceed with the business at hand?
Ready, Sam.
Date, fill it in, to Bartolomeo Maggiore. Copy to Lieutenant Rossi, North Beach Division, from Samuel Spade, license number 1375596. Subject, the Crab Louis Caper. Dear Bartolomeo, Fisherman's Wharf, as you know, is as changeable as an Italian wench. All smiles and laughter of a Saturday night with the lights blazing in the Chopino palazzos and the tourists 3 deep around the steaming cauldrons outside. But it's something else again of an early dawn, dark and lonely and quiet, except for the matter of engines as the crab boats nose out into the fog that hangs near the gate. Last night was somewhere in between.
Sound.
The lights were blinking out
foghorns.
as I left my cab and walked over to your place of business, a gaudily painted building at the foot of the wharf with red, yellow, and blue sign reading Museum Maggiore. Curios, souvenirs, waxworks, admission 10 cents.
Sound. Knocks on door. Sound. Door opens.
Oh, who are you?
Sam Spade. Bartolomeo called me. He wants...
He isn't here. Fasci's Grotto, end of the wharf. Oh.
Thanks. Look, if there's anything I can do...
Sound. Door slammed.
Sorry. Well, except for Fasci's at the very end, the wharf was dark now. It seemed early, as if something had interfered with business as usual, and the late customers had been brushed off a couple of hours ahead of time. I peeked through a hole in one of Fasci's window shades and saw why. It looked like the entire population of the North Beach was inside.
Sound. Footsteps. Door opened. Hubbub of meeting.
If everyone is ready.
Un momento. Who's this?
Me?
Yes, what do you want?
I'm Sam Spade. Bartolomeo Maggiore sent for me.
Bartolomeo!
Eh?
Consente il signor Spade.
Ah, sì, obligatissimo, Fasci. Out of here, Mr. Spade.
Sound. Footsteps. Door closed.
I know you are wondering why you are here.
As a matter of fact, I am, Bartolomeo. I thought.
I know. I know. It is about my son, Louis. My son. My only son.
He's inside?
No, not inside. Out in the darkness somewhere. Cold and alone.
Sound, foghorn wails.
You mean he's.
See, 6 days now they have searched for his body.
When did it happen?
1 week today.
Crab boat?
His boat, the San Felipe.
Was he alone when it happened?
You detectives, instinctively you strike at the point. My Louis always he fished alone until this time.
Who went with him?
Dominic Torrio, his friend Dominic. This gathering is assembled in Dominic's honor, you see.
You mean a hearing or something?
There's something more than that. Listen to them a moment.
Sound, footsteps, door opened.
I am sick. In my belly, I am sick. It's opera buffo. Fasci, you should sell the ticket.
Keep your temper, Aldo. State of facts.
Facts. All right. 6 years, Louis fished the crab alone. Each day he lay up close to the breaker line and string the pot. Each day he bring the San Felipe home hokey dokey. Everybody,
Yeah.
Till one fine day, Dominique goes with Louis to help. Ha! Help!
Aldo, we must deal in facts. We have.
Dominic, serpente.
Murderer!
Sound, gavel pounded.
This is the truth, Fasci. He killed Louis. He killed Louis, and you know why. He wants Rosalia, that's why.
Sound, door closed, crowd out.
You see how it is.
Rosalia.
Or you must have seen her at the museum.
Crying?
With reason. Next week, she and my Louis were to be married.
Tough. Do you think this Dominic was in love with her, maybe, and,
No, I think nothing, Signor. 2 men, friends, alone in a boat, in a heavy fog. One of them dies. The other says it is an accident. It is not for us to think or make guesses.
What am I supposed to do?
In the records of the police, Signor, my Louis died in an accident. In the hearts of his friends, he was murdered. For my sake, for Dominic's, for the sake of all of us. We must know the truth. For this, I prefer to employ one who is professional and impartial. Come.
Sound, footsteps, door opened and closed.
Believe me, before heaven, I'm innocent.
Sound, gavel pounding.
Silencio!
The crowd goes quiet.
Once again, Dominic. How far was the boat from Asia Rocks?
100 yards, I think.
How could you tell in a fog?
But I heard it from the breakers.
Let Dominic tell the story. Go on now. You had dropped the last crab pot over the side, and then?
Something went wrong with the motor. Louis told me to go look at it. I went below, and then it happened. Louis was leaning over the gunwale to untangle a float when the sea took us by the stern. I saw him go over and plunge into the white water. I brought the boat about then. For 2 hours, I yelled. I circled around. I blew the whistle, everything. Then the Coast Guard came. Facci, I swear it. That's all I know. I never saw Louis again after that.
Ciao, impossibile.
Sound, gavel pounds.
Silencio! My brothers, it was your will that I sit here in judgment on Dominic Torrio. Before I go on, are there any more questions you have to ask him? Are there any among you who have evidence to offer against him? So be it. You know as well as I, there's only one verdict here. The charge is dismissed. The court is adjourned.
Sound. Gavel hits once.
Well, everyone was still for a second, like a big tableau. Fasci, white-haired and dignified on the platform, looking down at Dominic. And the rest of them, all on their feet now, boring holes through Dominic with their eyes. He was the first to move, turning slowly, walking out through the crowd toward the door, looking tentatively from face to face, knowing he hadn't been acquitted at all, as one by one they turned their backs on him. I felt terribly sorry for Dominic until he walked past me and I got a look at his face and his eyes. In my racket, I see that look more often than the next guy, and I never saw it clearer than I did now. It was fear and hatred and guilt. So I left you talking to Fasci, Bartolomeo, and walked back down the wharf to the Museo.
Sound. Door knocks. Opens. Footsteps. Door closes.
Rosalia! Rosa! Oh,
I told you, Bartolomeo is not here. Huh?
I've seen Bartolomeo. I want to talk to you now. Please, sit down.
I don't want to.
Sit down.
Sound. Chair scrape.
That's a good girl. It was quite a place, the Museo. A catch-all for everything nautical you could run across in 60-odd years of living on the sea or next to it. From a 10-foot shark pickled in formaldehyde to a life-size figure of Captain Kidd, complete with drawn sword, lace cuffs, and treasure chest at his feet next to the door. I turned back to Rosalia, sitting on a rum keg under a flickering hurricane lamp, the only light in the room.
What do you want of me?
Bartolomeo wants the truth about what happened on the San Felipe.
They're deciding that at the meeting.
Yeah, they already did.
They did? Do you mean that Dominic is... I mean, how did they decide?
Dismissed the charges. No evidence. No witnesses. It was the only thing Fasci could do. Feel better?
No, it doesn't bring back my Louis.
No, it doesn't. Dominic is going free now from both the law and his people. No vengeance for Louis. And why were you crying when I came by tonight?
Haven't I the right to cry with my Louis?
Oh, drop
Eh?
it. Why didn't you go to the meeting? Afraid you'd give yourself away?
I didn't feel like it. That's all.
Oh, you're a Sicilian, Rosalia. Vengeance is pretty important to you. If you'd loved Louis, you would have been there screaming for Dominic's scalp.
Ah, you shut your mouth.
But no, you sat home crying, not for Louis, but for Dominic, right? How long had it been going on? Did you know Dominic was going to kill him when they went out in the San Felipe?
Why would Dominic kill him?
Well, that's a stupid question. He's in love with you.
In love with me? In love with me?
Drop it. Drop it, Rosalia.
In love with me? How I wish it were so.
Huh?
He killed her for me. Is that what they say? It's all very flattering. Very. I love Dominique. I always loved Dominique since I was a little girl. I threw myself at Dominique. I begged him to marry me. Tis not easy for a girl to do, Mr. Spade. I begged him. I promised to work for him, to be a slave. And you know what he did? He laughed. He spit on me. And you stand there and you tell me he murdered for love of me? He wouldn't walk across the street for me.
All right, take it easy now. Take it easy. Come on.
So I do the silliest thing. I promised myself to Louis Il Campione, the champion of the crab fishermen, who dares to fish right on the breaker line, catches more crab than anyone else. Louis the fearless. You know why he's fearless? He's too crazy to be afraid.
What do you mean?
He mutters. He talks to himself of great riches, of thousands of dollars, of him and me, Louis the crab fisherman and me, living in the finest house in North Beach.
When was this?
Last week, he went up to his father's Bartolomeo attic one night, and I came down with a big hunk of his raw wax from the wax works. Mi tresor, he called it. A stupid lump of wax. And he held it up before me, just so. And he says, with a mad gleam in his eye, from this Rosalia, from this I will carve us the biggest, finest house you can dream of. Here, look.
Sound, footsteps, woman's.
What's Captain Kidd got to do with it?
Sound, treasure chest opened.
He puts it in his treasure chest, see? You would keep this a secret, Rosalie, he says, if you love me. And he laughed again, like a madman. Me? Love a Louis Maggiore? I hated him.
Sound, running footsteps, door slams.
Well, it was too good to be phony. The triangle notion had to go. You could hardly blame Rosalia for thinking he was crazy. In the treasure chest was a hunk of tallow. Not a very fresh hunk at that. And Louis's routine with it must have hit her like the graveyard scene from Hamlet. Therefore, having no theory, no evidence, no witnesses, I also had no motive. As always in situations like this, I did the sensible thing. I went home and I went to bed.
Sound, phone rings.
I thought I went to bed.
Sound, pick up.
Hello?
Hey,
Yeah?
I got a tip for you. Find yourself a nice dirty divorce case somewhere and stay out of North Beach.
Oh, this sounds almost like a threat.
Call it advice. There's $100 in the mail for you. You'll get it this morning.
Oh, advice plus a bribe.
A gift.
Can I keep it if I don't play?
If you don't play, you won't need it.
I suppose it's useless to ask who this is.
Louis Maggiore.
Say that again?
Louis Maggiore. Shall I spell it?
You might explain it.
You talk to Rosalia. Figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, sure. So she never loved you and you knew it. So you go over the side when the combat hits, swim ashore, then discover they think you're dead and decide to leave it that way rather than go through with the wedding.
You got it.
Oh, I've got more. So life without Rosalia in North Beach is impossible. You can't face the shame and loose talk that goes with a busted wedding. So you're going over the hill and find a new life for yourself.
Wait a minute, Spade.
Oh, there's more. So you're tossing over a car, a bank account, a boat worth $7,000, walking out on your old man, to say nothing of 3 years apprenticeship and 6 years of hard work to get where you are. I understand perfectly, and you're being a little insulting. I make a lot of dough with my big flat feet, but I make some of it with my head. Now try again.
You don't believe I'm Louis Maggiore?
Well, that's the general idea. And it might surprise you to know that 5 minutes ago I was ready to chuck the whole antipasta. Now I'm back with both flat feet.
Sound, music box playing Marie over the phone.
What's with the music box?
Nothing. Tell me, would you know Louis if you saw him?
I've seen his picture.
Fine. I guess I'll have to prove it to you. Now, if I satisfy you I'm Louis Maggiore, will you stay home?
Scout's honor. Where do we prove it?
You know Castellane's grotto?
Halfway out the wharf, yeah.
There's a ramp running around behind it. I'll see you there in a half an hour.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say, Bartolomeo, but I didn't go alone. Roscoe was right there with me, with his safety off.
Sound. Foghorn. Footsteps on wharf. Water lapping.
It was the kind of fog San Francisco puts on once a year for the tourists, just to nail down its position as runner-up to London. I had to feel my way along the row of dark chowder houses and souvenir stands de Castellani's. Except for the foghorn and the lapping of the water below, there wasn't a sound. The only cheerful thing in the picture was Roscoe, who was now out of my pocket at the ready. I eased up to the corner of Castellani's. There was an alley between it and the next building, leading around to the ramp over the water.
Spade.
I could see the glow of his cigarette first.
Sound. Footsteps. Slow.
Then I made him out in a slouch hat and overcoat. He was standing at the rail.
Spade?
Right here.
Well, you satisfied now?
I'll let you know.
Sound. Footsteps. Slow.
I moved out from the side of the building and walked towards them. He must have known about Roscoe because he didn't move. Just let me come up next to him. I was stupid, sure, but it wouldn't have worked for him except for the fog. 2 feet away, I saw what I thought was Louis. It was a booby trap. The hat and coat was slung over a piling with the burning cigarette and the rail next to one of his sleeves.
Sound. Scuffle.
I rolled to the side just in time. The knife slashed through the padding on my left shoulder and he was on me. Roscoe went into the drink and I took on the arm with the knife with 2 hands and 32 teeth. Unhappily overlooking a spare foot he knew what to do with.
Sound. Kick in the stomach. Railing. Splinters. Splash.
I went through the railing like in the silent version of the Sea Wolf, arriving in the limpid and soothing waters of San Francisco Bay. At the moment, I was not sorry.
Listen, men, to this holiday tip on good grooming. To help spark up your whole appearance, first be sure that the hair is well groomed. Be sure it's groomed with popular Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic.
Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair neatly and naturally, the way you like it, the way she likes it. Wild Root Cream Oil also relieves annoying dryness, removes loose, ugly dandruff. So look your best all the time by sprucing up right with Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic.
Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. And now, back to Sam Spade in The Crab Louis Caper.
Sound. Splashing of Sam Spade in the water.
Holding my wet finger up in the wind, I quickly determined where north was, then just as quickly decided there was no percentage in swimming to the Golden Gate. A bright blur on my starboard bow called to mind the old saying, where there's light, there's life, so I headed there. 3 strokes this side of exhaustion, I pulled up at what proved to be a landing with a Jacob's ladder, at the top of which I found the rear entrance to Fasci's, or more accurately, Fasci's private office. The door was open.
Sound. Door closes. Footsteps.
What? Oh. What happened to you?
I'm Sam Spade. I've been swimming, if you're wondering.
Bartolomeo told me about you, but he didn't say you were crazy.
Maybe he didn't know. You wouldn't have a brandy lying around loose, would you?
Sure. Sit down.
Sound. Chair scrape. Glass clinks. Liquor poured.
Thanks. I think I saw Louis tonight.
Louis? Impossible. Where?
Behind Castellani's.
Here.
Bless you, Fasci. Hit me again.
Sound, liquor poured.
Oh, that's better. I'm human.
Now, what about Louis?
Called me up, said he'd meet me there. Just tried to knife me.
But it's impossible.
Is it?
Why would he have played dead? And why would he have tried to kill you?
Maybe he's crazy.
How do you mean?
You've heard of the dear old lady or the trunk full of pancakes, haven't you?
What?
Louis saves old tallow. Captain Kidd's treasure chest at the museo is full of it.
Who told you this?
Rosalia showed it to me. May I?
Help yourself.
Ah, thanks.
Sound, liquor poured.
It might be a good idea to call another meeting and tell the people. Make it easier for Dominic.
Funny, of the whole meeting here, I alone doubted his guilt.
Good thing they made you the judge, or he might be 6 feet under by now. You got a cigarette?
In the box there, next to the phone.
Oh, thanks.
Sound, picks up box. Music box plays tune as before.
Yeah, I went right along with them, too. Shows how wrong you can be when,
Sound, slowly closes box.
When what?
when you go by emotions and not by evidence. This is quite a cigarette box.
Yes, it stops the music when you put it down.
Sound, box put down, music stops.
Well,
Now I suppose now you'll drop your assignment.
oh, sure. I'm a detective, not a psychiatrist. If you got a lunatic running around, that's your problem. Good night, Fasci. Oh, thanks for the brandy. Well, if Roscoe had been along, I might have played it differently. But when you're sitting across a coffee table from a guy you suddenly realize has the wet cement already, you do what I did. You make polite noises and concentrate on getting out on 2 feet. It was 7-3 that Dominic was stashed in a handy closet, listening to the whole thing, which was handy since the next obvious move was his room in a house on Jefferson Street. A rooming house, according to my notebook, owned and operated by a 4-corsage bosom-type Italian lady known as Mama Luca.
Signore, I know nothing. I know nothing.
You're scared, Mama? Did Dominic threaten you?
No, don't ask me that.
Look, he killed Louis Maggiore. I've got to know why.
I don't know why. I don't know anything about it.
Louis came here before he disappeared?
Si. We came here the night before it happened.
Why?
I don't know. He was all excited. A handful of wax.
Wax?
You know?
What about it?
He showed it to Dominic. They all go into his room and they talk. Then he ran off to send the telegram.
Well, since it's official business, I can let you read the office copy.
Sound, paper rattle.
This message just came in tonight.
Dominic Torrio, your inquiry analysis of samples sent here by Louis Maggiore. Highly promising. If quality uniform and weight correct, would estimate value minimum $60,000. Hartley Associates, Vancouver, British Columbia. A lump of smelly stuff that looked like old tallow, picked out of the ocean and worth $60,000, was a strong enough clue for even stupid Sam to pick up. I left the telegraph office on the double and pulled up the Museo Maggiore 10 minutes later.
Sound, footsteps, door eased open, closed gently, slow footsteps.
To the lock.
Sound, lock being jimmied.
It's a jammed. Ugh.
He was too busy to notice me. I slid a marlin spike out of a rack next to the rum keg.
Sound. Footsteps. 3. Slowly and softly.
Locked. It must be locked.
I hate to do this, Fashy.
What? Oh, wait a minute, Spade. Oh,
Sound. Whack! Body fall.
The next voice you hear will be the nurse with the breakfast tray. Bartolomeo!
Sound. Footsteps descending stairs quickly.
What is it? Sam, what have you...
Look,
Huh? What have you done?
His Honor was playing Pandora with Captain Kidd's treasury.
The treasure box. Well, why? Who is it? Who?
Sound. Turns over body.
Fasci.
Surprised?
Fasci. Why would he, of all people?
He likes a buck as well as the next one, possibly even more when there are 60,000 of them.
$60,000? Is he mad?
Like a fox. Let me try to pry this cover off.
Sound. Sticks spike under chest lid. Grunts. Chest opens.
There!
What is this?
Well, it may not look like much to you and me, but to a perfume manufacturer, it's prettier than the Venus de Milo.
Tallow?
Ambergris. It's what happens when a whale gets a tummy ache. Louis must have run into it 10 days ago.
Padre de Dio. $60,000.
Yeah, that's the big why of it, Bartolomeo.
What now? You think Fasci?
He won't talk. Neither will Dominic. It's their necks and they know it. It's still 2 men alone in a fog in a boat.
See, I thought I'd be angry. There was hunger in my heart for vengeance. Strange, it isn't there now. Only a pity.
If there was only a witness.
Oh, there was.
What?
The eye of God was upon Dominic when he did it, and the judgment of God is swift and sure. Dominic knows it.
You think so?
Oh, I know Dominic. Why do you ask?
There's a way to find out. What time is it?
1:30.
Yeah, there's time. Call headquarters and have them send out an ambulance. Where do you keep your razor?
Razor?
Yeah, I'm going to shave Captain Kidd. Which I did, finishing around 2 a.m. During the next 3 hours, I got wet, cold, and seasick in the order named, but made it to the museo in time for a couple of stiff horns of grappa before you and I hustled down the wharf to where Dominic was picking up bait for his crab nets.
Sound. Footsteps. Foghorn. Motor of boat idling.
Dominic!
What? Oh, Bartolomeo.
And the Senor Spade.
I remember Mr. Spade.
Yeah, last night in back of Castellani's.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure, Dominic. It's all a horrible mistake. And
Hey, will you lay off of me, will you? I mean, you heard what Facci said, didn't you? They dropped the charges. I'm innocent. Innocent.
that's just why we're here.
We want to make it up to you, my boy.
What's on your mind?
You did Louis a great favor, Dominic. When his 32 crab pots got too much for him to handle, you went along to help him. Today we're going along to help you. Now, when do we cast off?
Sound. Boat motor. Splash of waves.
There's a float up ahead.
What color?
Yellow and red. Is that yours, Dominic?
That's mine.
Great. Great, pull up alongside. Well,
What's this all about?
I told you, Dominic,
No,
we're...
no, you're lying. Now, what are you trying to do? Break me down? Look, he's dead in an accident. You heard what Facci said.
Yeah. Forget it, Dominic, forget it. We love you like a brother.
I told the truth. I told the truth. What are you trying to do? Torture me? Is that what you want? Revenge?
No, the matter is in other hands now, Dominic.
What do you mean?
There was a one witness, wasn't there?
Oh, that's what you mean, huh? Now, is that why you came to tell me that? I mean, that's a good one. Now, hold on to this wheel, Spade. I'll bait my net.
Sound, footsteps, then net being hauled up under the following.
I'll spit in your eye one day, old man. One day when you get smart, you and the whole lousy wharf, when you know what was done to me, I'm going to get
We
you.
both watched him haul the line in, coiling it on
My
the deck,
revenge one of these
prattling
days.
to himself like a little kid whistling in the dark.
Yeah,
He was a lousy actor,
I'll show
pale
him.
under his sunburn and drenched with sweat.
I'll show him.
And up it came, coil by coil. Then it began to come slower.
Yeah, and I won't let you forget it, pal. I got something to prove, too. And when I can make it stick, then I can prove it in court. Now, I'll sue you till you bleed. What's the matter here? What's pulling on this line?
Maybe it's your conscience, Dominic.
Oh, it's heavy. It's...
The Lord moves in mysterious and strange ways.
I can't get it up.
Yeah, let me help you.
Sound, footsteps.
Here we go now. 1, 2, ah!
Sound, rope falling on deck. Water splashes. Wet body falls on deck.
Huh? What? No! Louis, get away from me! Let me go! Louis, no! No!
I hauled Louis up on, and a grisly sight he was, with the knife still sticking in his back. I figured that was where Dominic would stick it, and I was right. Not that it mattered, because Dominic wasn't thinking logically from the moment he saw Louis's body tangled in his crab line. He sang us all 50 verses then and there, and repeated them for the police stenographer later when we got him to headquarters. It looks like a first-degree rap for both him and Fasci, but I'm waiting till it happens before telling them the corpse was Captain Kidd, minus beard and ruffles. Period. End of report.
Sam, again and again I rediscover you.
And each time a new facet, a new thrill.
Oh, you're just wonderful.
Oh, it's true, but it pleases me to hear it from you. And so I propose to reward you in a fitting manner. First,
Back salary?
Tut, a carburetor for your voiturette. And second,
Back salary?
2 free tickets to the Museo Maggiore. And third,
Back salary?
an invitation to accompany me, your employer, to sup upon 2 bowls of Cioppino tonight at Castellani's. And fourth,
Oh, I give up.
back salary.
Oh, Sam!
Count it, sweetheart, and bless you. The voiturette, complete with carburetor, will call at your door in precisely 1 hour. Until then,
Good night, Sam.
good night, sweetheart.
You've been listening to The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective, brought to you by our wonderful sponsor. Music was transcribed and performed by the equally wonderful Heather Edwards. Sound effects were provided by the always wonderful DeLisa White. In the cast were yours truly, Alan Dolderer, Michael Johnson, America's Sweetheart Rebecca Rowe, Bob Rutan, and Franconeri, with Karla Hendrick as Effie and Steve Viola as Sam Spade. Join us again next month when we join forces with No Epilogue Productions to present that beloved classic, A Christmas Carol. Until then, good night, America. Bye-bye and bye-bye.
And we're off the air.